Okay, so now that we've learned how to create blocks, create and save W blocks and insert blocks and so on, what happens if it all goes horribly wrong and we make a mistake? So remember our little deliberate mistake, we've left out the center lines. Do I have to start again? Do I have to delete everything and kind of insert everything again once I've fixed it up? No, hopefully we'll show you now the in-place reference editing and a few other sort of methods. There's a few methods of modifying your block and updating your block, and also hopefully it'll affect each and every block in this, even the nested block within this flange. So remember, nut was nested within the flange block, so it's a block within a block. So hopefully that one will be updated as well. So if I kind of zoom into that area there, before we kind of go too far, I'll draw a couple of center lines. I've loaded a little center 2 line here. I'm going to change the color of it as well while I'm there, and using my little DC center command, then scale it up, and about there. Oops, about there will do. Change the line type scale. Try 0.25. There you go. So you've got a center line there, but you'll notice that the center line isn't really, if I highlight the block, it's not attached to the block just yet. So using the in-place reference edit, there's a few ways we can do it. We'll do it this way first. In-place reference edit, so if I go to insert, I think in the 2009 notes it says go to the blocks and references tab. You'll notice there's no blocks and references tab now, it's an insert tab. But we do have a reference panel. If I click on the little arrow down, there's my edit reference. That's what we're looking for. And select what you want to edit. That's what I want to edit, the nut. Click OK. You'll notice that all references of the nut disappears because it knows, well, it's going to update. You're going to update and modify the nut now, so you're obviously going to do something with that. And we're just going to add these couple of lines. Over in the very end here, if I click on that plus, oops, gone outside my screen a little. It's on my computer, but you can't see it. So if I just right click here, and I'll just close that content panel, just Design Center on that, close the content panel for a while, just to allow you to see this edit reference panel. I'll close it temporarily. I'll turn it back on before I finish. You won't have to do that. I just had to do it because the recording area that I'm recording on is smaller than my actual screen size, and it goes off the end. I can see it, but you guys can't. So this is the box I'm looking for here, this edit reference box. You can see we can save changes, discard changes, or more importantly now is what we're going to do is add to the working set. So I'm in here now, and I've got these, if I zoom into it, I've got these 4 items that make up my block, but I want to add this and this. So I want to add these 2 lines to my working set. So I can select this first or highlight these first and then add them to the working set, and they're added to my block. If I wanted to remove something from a working set, I could select on that and select that, and it would remove an object. Or easier, honestly, is just to hit the delete key. So really this one's the only one that I'd kind of say is useful for this method anyway. So if I save changes, it says all reference edits will be saved. That's okay, that's what I want to happen. Click OK, and if I zoom out, magically you'll see all my blocks now called nut have the center lines inserted in them. Okay, so that's one way of editing a block. The easiest way, double left click on it, click OK in the block edit definition, and up comes this little dialog box. It isolates the block. You can see it's giving me my insertion point. We'll have a little look at actions and parameter sets again at a later stage, but they're really, really wonderful. This is the dynamic block feature that you might have read a little bit about. Very, very good feature in AutoCAD. But for now we're just going to use it basically as an editing tool. So I can then go back and delete, and then close my block. Do I want to save the changes? Yes, why not? And now the center line's gone. Okay, so if I want to add it again, double click, click OK, do a center mark, scale it up like I did before, and close it. You can save the block over here, you can save it there and close it, and you don't get that box popping up, or you can just close it and you can see the dialog box asking you to save it pops up. But hopefully you see again, and there we go, we got our block created. The old way of doing it was just, if I go back to the old way, prior to that, in-place reference editing, and then the other little double click to edit the block in the block editor. If I double left click on it and X to explode it, or go back to the home tab I suppose, and I'll add the explode button, explode it back to its constituent parts, delete it, and now create the block again, called nut, pick my base point, select my objects, convert it to a block, click OK, redefine block, and they've all gone. Bit of a slower way and a bit of a easiest way to do it. The one I'd say pick one and stick with it, and I'd suggest you pick this one, the double click. I mean, what do you do to edit anything in AutoCAD? You double click on it. So even the in-place reference edit one, I wouldn't really be too fussed about kind of doing that. If you double click, by far the easiest method. Anyway, you're going to want to come in here and have a little play around with these palettes, these block authoring palettes, the parameters and the actions. Okay, to create dynamic blocks, you're going to want to play around with that. So this is the place to be, this is the place to do it. So dim center mark and scale it up. Oops, I clicked scale there, I don't think I did. And scale it up, and there we go, somewhere around there. And close and save changes. And that's our block editor. Like I say, pick one and stick with it. If you're asking me for which one you should pick with, the easiest one is the double left click on the block to edit it, and like I say, stick with that one, and you won't go wrong, because you go in there, you wanna have a little look at those other nice little additions to blocks that you can do within there. Okay, so that's editing a block in place.